Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
when you think about it, when we go in and say, it's been 2 weeks since my last confession, and these are all the things that I've done, but as you say, in most cases, most of them are relatively minor
Well,
offenses.
yes. When you're
Okay.
little, we used to line up and go in, and all my friends would be in the same row, and we could hear each other's confessions almost, and would tease each other afterwards. But it was no big deal. Like you fought with your brother and sister and
Hmm.
all that. But
One of the central themes is the Catholic faith, the Roman Catholic faith,
hmm
which has come under a lot of criticism in the past decade, especially over the course of the sex abuse scandal. Yet, in spite of that, it seems to have formed a lot of people's characters, and the characters in your story come out. It comes through. So you picked up, I call it benefits and baggage from your Catholic faith,
hmm
and your book seems to bring out a lot of those. And it also seems to be one of the I should call it points of salvation, but rallying points for some of the characters. For example, in Molly, not wishing to get the abortion and
hmm
carrying through with that. Obviously she carried with her a moral obligation toward that new life that she had
hmm
conceived and was going to bring forth.
hmm
At the same time, too, a lot of the pressure she was feeling from her family members came from, it seems to me, from having grown up Catholic myself, the shame of, well, we have a daughter out of this, having a child out of wedlock, and the shame on the family. Yet in spite of that, they prevail upon her to give the child up for adoption. Would you comment on the effect of the Catholic faith as a rallying point in your characters in
hmm
2 weeks from my last confession?
hmm Sure, especially with Molly. As I said, Molly and Sean were the two main characters. And Molly had a very deep faith because she really believed in God. She
Mm-hmm.
really did. Her mother dramatized it somewhat, so she had this negative effect because to Molly, God was this scary person, because of her mother, not because of what the church particularly did. Her mother frightened her quite a bit.
Punishing,
Yeah,
guilt,
guilt, punishing.
critical,
Yes, yes.
not exactly supportive.
Yeah, and Molly, much of her life, felt shameful no matter what she did, just even for speaking out when she was a little girl in
Mm-hmm.
catechism class. She felt ashamed. She didn't have a voice,
Mm-hmm.
in other words. But she did have a deep love of God. She knew that there was a higher power watching over her. So I wanted to make that clear in the book that although she was angry and bitter, she did have a love for the church and maybe a love-hate relationship, if you will.
Well, it seems to me a lot of the precepts in the Catholic Church are, you have this sort of dichotomous
Yeah.
relationship, this love hate and a punishing God, yet a loving God,
Mhm.
and how do I love a punishing God, kind of
Exactly.
thing. And those are a lot of the conflicts that I think
Mhm.
we as Catholics have grown up with
Right.
and had to sort out, as Molly has sorted out very successfully
Right.
in 2 weeks since my last
Yeah.
confession.
Yeah. And Sean, on the other hand, thought that the church was ridiculous to begin with,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of man-made rules, and he wasn't going to stand by that. He didn't know where his faith stood, but he pretended. He went along with everything, and he would write to his mother that he was going to church and a variety of other things. He got married in the church, but he didn't have a strong belief like Molly did. And even through Molly's addiction and um, sadness and wanting to die, she didn't stop praying. She believed in God.
Mm-hmm. So it seems that for Sean, his awakening experience was that second tour of duty in Vietnam and
Mhm.
recovering from what he picked up while he was over there.
Mhm. Yeah, very much so. Yeah. I know personally, people say to me, "Well, you don't practice the Catholic Church anymore, so you're not a Catholic." And I said, "No, that's not true. I'll always be a Catholic. It's like always being Irish or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I mean, it's ingrained in me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a culture, the
Mm-hmm.
Catholic culture."
Well, the way I've looked at it as religion or faith being sort of a circle, and faith is in the middle of that circle.
Mhm.
And a circle is defined as an infinite number of points.
Mhm.
That infinite number of points are all the various religious practices there are in the world today.
Mm.
But once you've got to the point of faith, then the need for the particular
Yeah.
rituals sort of fall away.
Right. Exactly.
Very good, Kate.
Yeah.
Well, what is coming after 2 weeks since my last confession?
Um, I am working on something else. I'm working on a book. It's called April Showers. And once again, it's a family saga, but a whole different avenue. It just focuses on this couple. And the very beginning, it shows the wife died of colon cancer,
Mm-hmm.
and what happens to them and the whole relationship and what caused her death and the three kids involved. But it's taking me a long time to write. I'm working full time as a nurse, so it's not as easy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to finish it.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you very much. It's been
Thank you.
quite an interesting interview, and good luck in your book. And we hope to see you make a movie of 2 weeks since my last confession.
Thank you, David.